If you are a parent who has experienced an addiction, you may know the signs. And if you are a parent who has not experienced an addiction, then let's talk about it. Hi guys, it's Antoinette, and I want to talk to you about signs and how to know if your child is using drugs. Our children change, we know, as they grow. But when there is a drug involved, it affects their behavior in every aspect of life. How they dress, what they eat, how they walk, how they talk, who they hang out with, what they do, where they go. I think it's important for you to know your child. Let's be real, all parents don't know their children. They don't know who they hang out with. They don't know where they go. Because we get so comfortable in just building a life, going to work, coming home, paying the bills, dropping your kids off at soccer practice, cooking the meals, and we're day in and day out doing the same routine that we don't have a relationship with our children. This is very important. You have to know what your child is like on a day-to-day basis, how they dress every day, how their hair is worn, how much makeup do they wear. You got to be involved in their lives, or else these signs will happen and you will not have a clue. Well, we all know everybody lies. I mean, there's your small lie, your big lie. But when we're talking about an addiction or using drugs, you start to recognize little lies of, okay, I was over at Carol's house, but Carol comes to look for you and you're not at home. Or you stayed after school for a sport that you no longer even play. These are little signs of just unnecessary lies. And our children will make these up, and believe it or not, guys, you've told a lie before. You know how to convince somebody of what you're saying to make them believe that it's the truth. Places they used to go, like football games, basketball games, they no longer want to attend to. And even family events. It's grandmother and grandfather, they're coming over, we're celebrating a birthday, or it's your sister's or one of your siblings' birthday, or we're just doing a family night out, and all of a sudden the interest is gone, or either they're only there for a short period of time, or they just don't show up at all. You know how we are. We're parents. We work. We get these fine lines, these dark spots under our eyes. If your child is experiencing these dark spots and not getting sleep, or all of a sudden they have no appetite. You know, you've got Johnny's dinner at the table and he may pick at it, or he may just say, Mom, I'm not hungry, and not even eat. Usually these are signs, along with the weight loss. You will see the fluctuation of the weight loss. Johnny may even begin to pick up weight, or Johnny may drastically begin to lose weight due to eating habits and not sleeping well. One of the main drugs that will keep your child up and even prohibit them from eating is meth. Meth has an extensive wear time, so that means this child could be up 12, 24 hours straight without any sleep. And then there are other signs. You will begin to see them just irritable, just not being able to hold a thought, or either begin to start picking at their skin. But if you recognize any of these signs, I would question it. What are you doing? Who are you doing it with? We know teenagers are moody. Everybody knows that. You know, they go through this life. Sometimes it's peer pressure. Sometimes it's just the fact that their bodies are changing. But moodiness is a big thing when you're involved in using drugs. One moment they could be happy, all full of life, and the next moment they're just depressed. Suicidal talk. They may even begin to experience self-harm, cutting, nail biting, scratching of the skin. These are also signs that go along with the moods. I remember remember when I realized and I came to the attention that my son was experiencing drug use. He would come home and any little thing that I would speak to him about, it was like, why? And it was not just him questioning what I was asking him, but it was the tone in his voice and the look in his face, of course. But it was like, I had no a business asking him about his life. And then that mood would just switch all of a sudden. Hey, Ma, how's everything going? And, he would become loving and hugging. And then all of a sudden, it would flip like a switch of a light. And this really, it kind of, first I didn't want to think that, but being a parent who has experienced addiction before and heavy drug use, I knew immediately that there was something going on. So I did question him about it. And of course I was right, but this mood that he was experiencing, I didn't just have to question it, I recognized it. We know all teenagers experience that time in their teenage years when authority, whether it's male or female, is really difficult for them. But while I'm talking about challenging authority where they just refuse flat out, whether it's at school, at home, and I'm not talking about with the little things like make your bed. I'm talking about you set this curfew. It's a school night, 10 o'clock, be in the house. They may not get home till 2 o'clock in the morning. And it becomes a repeated cycle. And then now they begin to challenge your authority. Well, you don't tell me when I get to come in. Yes, you do. These right here are crucial signs because they're challenging your authority and they're not coming home at all. What are they doing? And where are they doing it? And who are they doing it with? Challenging authority not just at home, but at school. The teacher is telling them what to do. She needs their attention in class and they're constantly talking to other students and even talking back to the teacher. This is a challenge of authority as well. And it begins to be a problem to where now they're disruptive in class, they're being disruptive at home. And that's a big pattern right there, guys. That's a huge pattern that you need to look for. This challenge of authority is really when they begin to say, you know what, I'm going to do what I want to do, regardless of what you say. Johnny is a blue jean t-shirt guy. And Sally, she's a, slacks with a nice button down. And all of a sudden, Sally is wearing halter tops with holes in them, jeans with ripped holes everywhere. And I know jeans with the holes in it is in style now. I get that. Everybody's wearing them. But there's sometimes when it's just a little too much, or she's wearing the booty shorts that show more booty than it does shorts. And then, now we have kids where I understand that the Black Gothic look is in. But if that's not who Sally is, but all of a sudden that's who she's become, or guess what, guys? They're not even showering, or they're not washing their clothes, or clothes are coming back with smells and odors in them. If you have a relationship with your child and you know them, you wash their clothes, and now you're starting to see clothes that you've never seen before, smells that you've never smelled before, this is a sign. This is something to be very aware of. If Sally is your basic makeup girl and all of a sudden she's got the black lipstick on, the dark nails with the dark eyebrows, and then her hair is 10 different colors. Same with Johnny. All of a sudden he's going from the mild haircut to his hair has got more oil in it than the frying pan does frying the chicken. Whether it was a candy bar at the store or maybe a piece of bubble gum, when you were little and you just picked it up and put it in your mouth and threw the wrapper down and didn't tell mom you got the gum. Okay, stealing. That's huge right there. It starts off with small things like maybe taking $5 out of mom's purse and saying, hey mom, I got some lunch money. And then that $5 turns into $25, $50. Now I'm not telling mom anything. I'm just taking from her purse. Or maybe I took some cash out of the safe. Or maybe, I just decided one day I was going to take whatever I wanted. Stealing is a huge sign that there may be some drug activity going on with your child. First of all, they're not going to come up to you and say, hey mom, I need $20 to go get a bag of weed. Or hey mom, I need $50 to go get a lollipop. They're not going to do that because they don't want you to know that they're using. So the next thing that comes is stealing. And it's not just from you. It could be from friends at school, in the locker room during gym time, from a friend's purse, or from a friend's car. It could even be from a neighbor. But stealing is a big sign that there is drug use going on. Especially if they come from a household to where, there's free reign. If you need it, just ask for it. Or you are a provider who has provided everything that you feel that they need. And now all of a sudden, even the things that you provided, laptops, games, phones, cell phones, all of these things are you no longer see them active on their cell phone. You no longer see them active while they're gaming. And you know how kids love to game. Because they begin to pawn these things, or, oh, I'll let Johnny borrow it. No, you pawned it. This is really huge, guys. And I recommend for every parent, even if you think that you may see some of these signs, to check your children's room to see what's missing, what's not there, and what is there that wasn't there. And then begin to ask these questions. Because these signs, they are super important. Because first of all, no one wants to think that their child is using drugs. And when we say drugs, it doesn't have to necessarily be the heavy stuff. I truly believe that marijuana is a gateway drug. It opens the door for so many other drugs. And a lot of times we think it's okay, they just smoking a little weed. Then that weed turns into they're just smoking a little crank. Then that crank turns into they're just smoking a little meth. And then the next thing you know, you're at the ER. And I know I painted a picture that sounds like, it's not going to happen like that. But guess what? It does. It happens like that often too many times. So for you parents who may have experienced addiction, you know a lot of these signs. Don't just overlook it and be like, he's just having a bad day. If you've had this experience before and it has been you, and now you're seeing it in your child, please don't hesitate to sit down and have that conversation, because these signs are here for a reason. But it's up to us to be attentive to our children, to know our children, to recognize these signs. I don't recommend it because they can put so much into vapes now. Like they vaping marijuana like it's crazy. Vaping is a whole nother ball game within itself. Can it lead to addiction? Of course. I have young women in the center all the time that just can't wait to get out to get their vape pen because it's got that little bit of dosage of marijuana in it, but in their mind, being so young, yum is good. And so of course when they get to that age where they can go get the real deal, it's on. And it's sad to say, but that's where we are. You can buy edibles in the local stores now. And our children are experiencing addiction just through these small doors that are being opened from society. For the government is saying, hey, as long as we can make a penny off of it, it's okay. And they don't really realize the harm that it's causing with our teens. And it's not so much as it's bad because of the drug that they can put in it, but just what vaping does to the lungs itself, because you can get the air bubble. That's the number one thing that they're seeing a lot in these young teens. They get air bubbles in their lungs, which creates opens the door for a whole lot of other things, respiratory infections, all these different infections. And teens are just, it's the newest thing. I may not can go buy cigarettes, but I can get a vape. So once you recognize these signs, we need to talk about what to do next.